Hi there. It's been a while since I uploaded a video. I've been blessed with the opportunity at my job. For those that don't know, I'm an application developer on a credit card team for a bank, and I lead the initiative to modernize the mainframe. And by mainframe, I mean, when you see old retro futuristic videos on the internet of an old Macintosh computer with like green screen on it and people coding into it, that's sort of the mainframe. So I lead an initiative to modernize that. And what that means is I'm plugging in what they call non-legacy technology, which the mainframe is legacy. And I am the one leading the initiative to pretty much bridge the gap between current tech and old tech. And God blessed me with an opportunity to mentor two interns at the same time. And I am somebody who tries to lead selflessly and embody the philosophies that Jesus enacted here while on earth to the greatest extent of my ability. Therefore, the way that I go about carrying out a mentorship for the interns is pretty different to as compared to what I would think of other companies doing it, or at least very different based on based on the experience that I had as an intern for the company that I interned for when I was in college. I couldn't stand it at that time because I sat around for like the first 2 weeks. And then after that, they would just give you assignments to create documentation or something barely even. It seems like most companies just barely even give an effort to developing the interns as not only whatever worker they're striving to be, but better people, which I don't understand because they're usually like 20 years old around this time or maybe younger. And the lessons that they need to learn are ones that you could find in texts like the Bible, for instance, or philosophical texts like Plato's lectures, or just various things, right? I guess various manuscripts or documentation. And it's not all to do with IT in the case of my specific job arena. And I think a lot of people miss the fact that if you develop people into better people, they'll be better workers. And if you go about it, if you're a Christian and you believe in Jesus and the way that he lived here on earth, he was selfless and he was embodying the philosophies that God wanted the people to carry out, which was total selflessness, then you should be pouring out into those interns, whether you believe they're going to be working for your company in the future or not. And that is my goal with them, is to develop them into better people, no matter where they work. Right. And so that's what I've been doing for the past month, or I don't know when was the last time I even uploaded. And it obviously takes a lot of time. So I've been acclimating and restructuring my schedule to adhere to this new opportunity in my life. And it's been amazing. God's been using it to foster and build up leadership abilities in me. And I've been able to incorporate all of the teaching and knowledge base materials that I have in my head from like psychology and philosophy and all of the classes and lectures and subjects that I just study on the side outside of my IT endeavors. And it's been really amazing. I believe that the interns are having a great time and valuing it. And it is challenging to embody a philosophy wherein you are truly selfless. I would say that on average, my workday has extended by 4 hours because I'm still trying to learn how to properly manage the responsibilities that I had before they came and trying to enact the selfless sort of teaching that Jesus did while here on earth. And some of the things that I've noticed is there are times when you perceive things about people and then I don't know about you, but I'm somebody who gets lost in a day, and I don't know how to describe it. My personal relationship with the current day and time, it seems like sometimes I get so stressed out about things that the day is never going to end, or I get lost in the chaos, I suppose. And it has to do with how much I'm doing, and I guess pressure and insecurities and all these other sort of emotions, or I would say detrimental habits of mine. But when it comes to leading people, you can start to get a picture of them. And then as they develop, you start to see things and they change in front of you into people that you wouldn't have imagined them to be early on. And that could be both in a negative way or a positive way. And it's really hard to wrap your head around. And I struggle with not trying to put people in a little box, because I don't know about any of you, if anyone ever watches this, if you happen, at least lately, my mind has, I'll describe it like this. My thoughts are generally positive most seasons of my, I wouldn't say most seasons, but here lately. And I would say if you took the last 3 years of my life, my thoughts have been more positive than not. Yet lately, here in the past like couple weeks, I would say that if you would look at my thoughts as being a boat that's in the middle of a lake or on a river, that the natural current of the water is causing the boat to drift towards either the coast or towards the edge of the river or lake, whatever it is. And that place, the coastline, would be negative. So it seems like my thoughts are, by default, they just kind of veer to negativity or a negative outcome in some things. And I have to constantly battle that. Here lately, I don't know why. I don't know if that's like the enemy, the devil attacking me, or God testing me. And I actually wrote this in my journal. I thought to myself, I wrote it in my journal. I was like, I don't know if this is the enemy attacking me like spiritual warfare, or if this is just God allowing the enemy to attack me and have that as a test. Because in the Bible, when David becomes king and anointed, it says that there's a verse that says that God allowed a spirit to go into Saul and torment him. And then Saul was like trying to kill David because David was going to usurp him as king. And so people, and that kind of throws people for a loop because they don't believe that God will. They wouldn't, most people, I think, generally wouldn't think of God as being a being that would allow a negative spirit to possess somebody, right? And cause just absolute chaos. But Saul disobeyed God and did a lot of things that were outside of God's commands for him as king. And David was anointed to be king. And so God allowed a spirit to go into him, and Saul then tried killing David. And so when it comes to my own life in this situation now, I thought, well, maybe God is allowing spirits. But then I thought, God can control everything and can stop anything in an instant or provide anything in an instant. Therefore, all spiritual warfare that I have is allowed by God. And that kind of blew my mind thinking about it. I was like, oh, yeah, well, it is a test then, I would say. And it's been very interesting leading interns in the actual subject matter that I work with every day, because I'm the only one that works in the field that I do. I'm the only one modernizing the mainframe. I'm the only one that knows both the new tech and current and old. I'm the only one that works the way I do. Therefore, I can't go to any one person to ask questions of them when I'm looking for an answer that applies to the entire scope of my work. I don't have one person to do that. I have to go to people for different bits and pieces, right? People that are expertise in little segments or areas of the modernization of the mainframe initiative. For instance, I would have to go to somebody that's into networking, right? When it comes to connections between one technological entity and another. Or I have to go to someone for programming that knows code when it comes to developing a program, maybe in a certain language like Java, for instance. And what I found is now that I'm mentoring interns to start working in this initiative, it's taken far more than I would have ever expected, just because I don't have anyone else to really pass off the burden that I'm carrying, the weight that I'm carrying. I kind of view it as a backpack because I'm the only one that can teach them to really do what I'm doing. And there's been a lot of lessons in this. And one that I hope that you can take away from this is God won't ever give you things that you can't handle with Him. Now, God will give you things that will cause you to crumble if you try to do it all by yourself. If I didn't have the belief in God that I have currently, I would not be able to handle training 2 people. I would have crumbled probably a week, and I would have crumbled this week. I would have obliterated, because I've had to reorchestrate my entire schedule, my priorities. My value hierarchy has to be rearranged where God's still at the pinnacle of it, right? But certain levels beneath God have to be rearranged in accordance to selflessly serving those that God presents to you for you to help and teach. And this actually relates to, I've been learning from Jonathan Pageau. He's somebody that works with Jordan Peterson, the dude right there on my wall in that poster there. And I've been taking his symbolism masterclass, and he was talking about how there's this pattern in life, and it's like a wheel where there's things at the center, which could be God, which is God. And then the spindles of the wheel represent the different activities that you do, right? Or different sections of it. And with God being at the center, it's just like this also, God is so amazing because I've been studying psychology and philosophy and theology. And now I'm finally to the point where all of the areas and fields that I'm studying are starting to merge together and build off of each other. And so this wheel representation, it represents all of the different areas of your life, right? And the wheel goes round and round. And also, if you turn the wheel, like if it's like this, if you turn it laterally, like so, the center of it, the axle, I believe it is, that would go up, right? And that would go up straight to heaven, okay? And then God gives you resources that comes down, okay? And then He's still at the pinnacle of it, the center of it. And you can view that as the Holy Spirit. And then it's the Holy Spirit's resources kind of like spread out all over, okay? And that is so similar to how I feel now when it comes to God having all of these different like spokes to the wheel. And all these things I'm trying to manage at the same time, and He's at the center. And if I didn't have like the Holy Spirit or resources from heaven, it would just, all of it would collapse. It would just explode, implode, essentially. And another thing that I've learned from that masterclass, and this also relates to the psychology class that I've been studying, wherein the teacher of the psychology class talked about how our attention and perception works, where there's a billion things around us all the time. Like if you look at my room right now, you can see all the stuff that I'm doing with like Warhammer or painting and whatnot. I could sit here and get lost in any of the small detail of my room, but my mind is blocking out everything in order to concentrate on recording this lecture right now. And just like all those spokes of the wheel representing different things of the greater goal that the Holy Spirit has put in you, being at the center of the wheel, if I were to concentrate on any level or any area of my life right now too much, then everything would fall apart. And the center of the wheel being like God or the Holy Spirit giving us resources, you can also see that as, well, the entire wheel would be the purpose of your life. And then God is giving you the resources to enact the discipline and actions that are needed in order to have it come to pass. And so while I'm doing this selflessly is the goal. If I were to concentrate on any certain aspect of my life too much, I would get lost, right? The wheel would explode. The interns that I'm mentoring would not get what God has put it in my heart to give them through serving them. The company that I work for wouldn't have the tasks that they have given me to carry out completed. The other areas of my life that I serve people in, those wouldn't happen either. And what's really ironic is if you concentrate on the entire purpose too much, you can get lost in that. So if I thought about how I believe God is calling me to lead a sort of revelatory moment, or calling me to lead others to grow closer to Christ, if all I do is think about that entire picture, I will miss out on all the little minute details. So all the spokes of the wheel. And just like our perception, like our mind, we block out like a billion things when we walk into a room in order to see ahead of us so we can strive forth and carry out the purpose for us entering the room. Like, for instance, when you sit down in a chair, there's a billion pieces to this chair here. Or when you're talking to a person, you can get lost in all the details of their shirt, but you don't because you're looking at them, right? And you are engaging in this adventure to bring about revelation in coming to know things that you don't know about whatever it is that you are conversating with this person about. And so I've been learning how to properly manage all of the different areas of my life at the same time while selflessly leading these interns and selflessly serving the company that I'm in, because I believe it all is training me to be, and it's a part of that whole purpose, to be a better apostle for God and to serve others and teach others through the embodiment of Jesus, of the philosophies that Jesus taught us while he was here on earth. And others can view me and learn from myself through my actions and through the verbalization of the thoughts that God gives me. Does that make sense? And so I would just think about that as you go about life and things start to get a little hectic. Remember, God gives you tests that you can't complete by yourself, but you will complete them with him if you lower yourself and allow him to work through you and in you. And know that there's nothing that's too great for God to handle through you. And there's a reason why he trusts you with the predicament that you're in. I don't know what it is that you're in. I there's many areas of my life that I feel lost in, but it's the sort of hmm, it's the sort of sensation of not having a compass or a map, and I'm in this state of wonder to find out everything that God has for me. And I just know that if I just keep moving and strive forward and return to God and seek his counsel and correction, that is probably, I should have said that earlier. Continue to go back to God and ask him, identify, Lord, what am I doing wrong? Please show me. And then listen and watch. And there are some seasons of your life where you will feel like God's not talking to you. And that is intentional because usually he's testing you and he's trying to get something out of you or waiting for you to give something up and to orchestrate your posture, your heart and spirit in a way where you can receive his new word, or if you will operate on just faith that he exists and he will carry you to the end. As long as you keep actually moving forward, whether that be physically, you're actually moving, or spiritually. So think about that as you struggle with things and don't give up. God will take you to where he wants you to go. I hope this helped. Let me know what you think about the things that I discussed in this lecture or video, whatever you want to call it. And I'm extremely happy to be back. I've been working on my public speaking skills a lot, and I hope that you can tell that it's improved. At least I think it has. You can also slaughter me, it's okay, and just give me negative feedback. I'm completely fine with that. So I'm going to end it here, and I thank you so much for tuning in. I thank you so much for watching, if you have up until now. And I will be back when I'm back. I don't know exactly. Like I said, my schedule is, I don't know if I would call it chaotic, but it's demanding. Nevertheless, I love you, and I thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you next time.